Hi guys, welcome back to our kitchen. We ate way too much meat in the last video, so today we decided to cook up a healthy vegetarian dish using some of our recently ripened homegrown tomatoes. And this dish is called Shakshuka. Shakshuka. Shakshuka.
Shakshuka? That sounds like a martial arts move inspired by Shaquille O'Neal.
Huh?
What? Didn't you ever play Shaq Fu for the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo?
No.
Well, anyway, shakshuka is a tomato and egg stew that originated in northwest Africa. Immigrants from Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, and Libya likely brought the recipe with them as they traveled eastward into what is now modern-day Israel and the rest of the Middle East, of where it is presently very popular. What's great about shakshuka is that it can be cooked in a single pan. It's basically eggs poached in a hearty tomato sauce with tons of onion, garlic, and earthy spices garnished with fresh herbs on top. It's great for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or any time you'd like a taste of the Sahara.
To make shakshuka, you'll need some eggs and tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes from my garden, but you can use any type of tomatoes you like. You'll also need a lot of spices, mainly smoked paprika and cumin, but it's also nice to add in some chili flakes, cayenne pepper, and fennel seeds. And don't forget to use good olive oil.
To get started, I'm going to slice 180 grams of cherry tomatoes in half. You may want to use a serrated knife so your tomatoes don't burst open like my first one did. Put your garlic cloves on the cutting board and smash them with the knife before giving them a rough chop. Cut off both ends of an onion, then peel it, slice it in half, and dice it up. We only need half of the onion, so save the other half for something else. Turn your stove onto medium heat. Drizzle in some extra virgin olive oil, and when it's hot, drop in your diced onions. We're going to saute them for 6 to 7 minutes or until they are brown and caramelized. Add some freshly ground pepper and season with salt. Stir your onions here, and this is going to take a while, so be patient. The longer you wait, the better it'll be. Look at these onions. They smell so good. Nothing smells better than caramelized onion. At this point, we're going to add in the spices. Make sure to lower the heat to avoid burning them. The hot oil in the pan will dissolve the fat-soluble flavor compounds from the spices into the rest of the dish. Give this a stir. Let the flavors get to know each other. Now we're ready to add in the tomatoes and garlic. Stir them around. Make sure all the tomatoes are coated in the spiced oil mixture.
Next, we are going to add some marinara sauce. Yes, marinara sauce. Normally, when making shakshuka, the recipe calls for canned tomatoes, but I prefer the rich and intense tomatoey flavor of marinara sauce, and I always have some on hand. Go ahead and stir in some water. We're going to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes on low to medium heat, or until it's reduced by a quarter.
Are you supposed to stew acidic ingredients in a cast iron pan for up to 20 minutes? Yes, trace amounts of iron may leach into your food due to acidic corrosion, but hey, you need iron in your diet anyway, especially if you happen to be a vegetarian. And trust me, you won't detect any sort of metallic flavor. And actually, all the ingredients we're using here are exponentially less acidic than something citrusy like a lemon.
If you don't want tomato sauce all over your counter, make sure you put a lid over it because this is going to be bubbling like crazy. While the tomato sauce is simmering, grill some bread for later. If you're gluten-free, just skip this part. Check out our tomato sauce. This is exactly the consistency we're looking for. It's not too thick, yet not too watery. Crack the eggs directly on top of the sauce. I'm using 4 eggs today. You could also use more than that, as many as you could fit in a pan. Put the lid back on. We're going to let this simmer for another 3 to 4 minutes. We want soft poached eggs, so make sure you don't overcook them. You can tap the eggs with a spoon. If they jiggle like this, they are done. Remove it from the heat. We're going to garnish it with some herbs and a bunch of delicious toppings.
The direct translation of shakshuka is shaken up, which is an apt description. The flavor is something like a delicious pizza omelet.
Alright guys, and that's how you make shakshuka. It is absolutely delicious, and not to mention, it is good for you. The grilled bread is the perfect utensil for eating this dish, and when it's dipped into the egg yolk and tomato sauce, the yolk just oozes out and it's super creamy, and the sauce is nice and tangy, but at the same time, it has a great balance of sweetness from the fresh tomatoes, and all that spices added some warmth and punch at the end. It is saucy, tomatoey, and the cilantro and olive oil just brightened everything up. And the fried onion and garlic provide some nice crunch. Once again, this is such a simple dish to make. We highly recommend you trying this at home.